Well, dear friends, welcome to my Sunday afternoon live stream here on the 20th of September, 2020, 10 days short of my birthday, when I will be 20, plus a few extra ones on top of that. Welcome to the house of Bert and Josephine. This is where we live. It's a beautiful day outside. Temperatures are really, really sweet and fall-like, even though it's not quite really fall yet. It's just the weird, quirky weather we're having. I'm so happy to be here. If you've been watching my live streams in the past, you will be immediately struck by the fact that things sound a great deal better right now than they used to. That's because I reinvested some of the generous proceeds from my earlier live streams and got myself some better equipment to deal with, hence the headphones, because now I'm going into a mixer where I can get the level of the voices and the guitars up there where they should be. And today's live stream is going to begin in just a moment. No one's here yet in my live performance. People will drop in, and when you drop in, say hello to my live chat. You're probably not used to coming to YouTube to do this. I've been doing it just on Facebook, but YouTube is what's making it possible for it to look and sound as nice as it looks and sounds. So while I'm waiting for people to gather, I'm going to play a little recorded music for you with a Get Ready screen. And when it's done, I'm just going to start playing whether there are people here or not. If you do come here, please say hello. I'd love to know that you're here. Let me know if you hear the sound okay, because this is a new setup for me, and I want to know that everything is balanced and looks and sounds good to you. All of that said, let's start with just a little Get Ready screen here. We're going to be listening to a piece of music of mine called Me and My iPod, which is a futuristic funk tune. While we wait for the crowd to gather, this tune is available, I believe, at Bandcamp at this point as part of a collection called The Pop Cycle. So here comes Me and My iPod. Oh, that's so funky. And that, of course, was Me and My iPod, from my collection called Songs of the Robot Child, and that song is available at Bandcamp. And I'm going to start the live music now. I'm going to start with some traditional songs while I'm waiting for people to drop in, if they do drop in today. I'm going to start with one of the very first songs I heard when I went to the West Village as a 15-year-old runaway with a guitar playing Donovan songs. I went to Gertie's Folk City, which that night was being administered as an open mic by Dominic Chianese, who you might know as Junior in The Sopranos. That night, on the same bill as this green, wet behind the ears kid There was Karen Dalton, who you may not know of but should. Tim Hardin, which you have probably heard a bunch of his songs, and Fred Neil. But the one that really caught my attention was Karen Dalton, because she was just an astonishing singer, and she sang this song, and I'm not sure if this is a traditional song or a song that she adapted from a traditional song, but I always associate it with her. This is called Katie Crew. When I first came to town, they called me the Roving Jew. Now they've changed their tune, they call me Katie Crew. Through the woods I go, through the swamp and the mire, straight way down the road till I come to my heart's desire. If I was where I would be, I'd be where I am not. Here I am where I must be, where I would be, I cannot. When I first came to town, they bought me drinks aplenty. Now they've changed their tune, they bring me the bottle empty. Through the woods I go, through the swamp and the mire, straight way down the road till I come to my heart's desire. If I was where I would be, I'd be where I am not. Here I am where I must be, where I would be, I cannot. Through the woods I go, through the swamp and the mire, straight way down the road till I come to my heart's desire. Katie Crew, Karen Dalton. I don't know who's here and who's not. I don't know if my chat is active because I'm brand new here to YouTube. So if you're listening on Facebook and you're dropping comments, I'll see those comments later. If you have YouTube and you go to my channel on YouTube by following that same link, you'll have access to the live chat here. So right now I'm just kind of singing to whoever, but I'm delighted if you're here and so happy to be doing this. I'm going to do another traditional song for you now. This song goes out to my dear friend Samuel R. Delaney, who taught me this song. It's an ancient song. Goes back to the 14th or 15th century. It's called Tom of Bedlam. It's the song of the wandering madman. Originally, it had hundreds of verses. I've seen them. It's page after page of verses. People, the minstrels, love to make up verses for this song. Shakespeare reduced it to about 20 or so good verses that he occasionally used as incidental music, I believe in King Lear, but I could be wrong about that. And in the 20th century, the poet Kenneth Patchen reduced it to 12 decent lyrics, which he included in some of his work. And then my friend Samuel R. Delaney adapted those lyrics to the guitar arrangement you're about to hear. Mostly this is Samuel's guitar input here. His verses, I've added a couple of little flourishes, but this goes to Chip Delaney. Bedlam boys, Bedlam boys, Bedlam boys are bonny, for they all go bare and they live in the air and they want no drink nor money. from the hag and hungry goblin that into rags would rend ye. Spirits that stand by a naked man in the book of moons defend ye. That of your 5 sound senses you shall not be forsaken, or wander from yourselves with Tom abroad to beg your bacon. Oh, I do sing any food, any feeding, shelter, drink, or clothing. Come dame nor maid, be not afraid, poor Tom will endure nothing. The moon's my constant mistress, the lonely owl my marrow, the flaming drake and the night crow make me music to my sorrow. I know more than Apollo, far oft while he lay sleeping, I see the stars at bloody wars and the wounded wailkin weeping. I do sing any food, any feeding, shelter, drink, or clothing. Come dame nor maid, be not afraid, poor Tom will endure nothing. With a host of furious fancies, whereof I am commander, with a flaming spear and a horse of air, to the wilderness I wander. By a night of ghosts and shadows I summoned am to tourney, 10 leagues beyond the wide world's end, methinks it is no journey. Oh, I do sing any food, any feeding, shelter, drink, or clothing. Come dame nor maid, be not afraid, poor Tom will endure nothing. I'll find my merry mad Madeline, and I'll seek whate'er betides her, and I will love beneath of above the dirty earth that hides her. My staff has murdered giants, my bag a long knife carries, for to cut mince pies from children's thighs with which to feed the fairies. Oh, I do sing any food, any feeding, shelter, drink, or clothing. Come dame nor maid, be not afraid, poor Tom will endure nothing. Bedlam boys, Bedlam boys, Bedlam boys are bonny, for they all go bare, and they live in the air, and they want no drink nor money. The song of the wandering madman, Tom o' Bedlam. I have a lot of tunes prepared for you today. I'm just starting out with these traditional songs just to kind of warm up. One more traditional song, and then we'll get to some original tunes. And thank you so much if you're here. A little unused to this format because usually I can see my friends here on screen and they see them chirping in, but I don't know if they're here or not. I'm hoping they are, and I'm hoping they can hear me, and I'm hoping that my new improved sound and my new improved visual thing is making them happy. If you like what I do, if this is the first time you've ever heard me play, yeah, I'm pretty good. I'm happy to say that I keep on practicing and I keep on playing. And if you want to support me, that's how you do it right down there. You can just visit my virtual tip jar, and what goes in there is much appreciated. Doesn't need to be much. And if you've already dropped something in there in the past, there's other ways to support me, and I'll talk about that in a while, that won't involve any extra expense on your part. And I do thank so much my previous benefactors who allowed me to get this better set up. Without their support, I would never have been able to afford it or encouraged to go ahead and make the move. In any event, one more traditional song. This song was a song that my mother used to sing to me a great deal. It was a hit song in 1870. I think Ariola Grande, when she was an infant, did this song in 1870. The song could never be a hit now. My golden slippers have been laid away, and I don't expect to wear 'em till my wedding day. My long white coat that I love so well, gonna wear it in the chariot in the morning. And the old gray coat I bought last June, gonna put it away 'cause it fits too soon. The old gray mare that I used to drive, gonna hitch her to the chariot in the morning. Oh, them golden slippers, oh, them golden slippers I'm gonna wear, 'cause they look so neat. Oh, them golden slippers, oh, them golden slippers I'm gonna wear to walk on the golden street. Now my old banjo hangs on the wall, it ain't been tuned since late last fall. Everybody says we're gonna have a good time when we ride that chariot in the morning. There'll be Brother Bill and his sister Luce. We'll telegraph a message to my Uncle Backajuice about the sweet camp meeting we will have that day when we ride that chariot in the morning. Oh, them golden slippers, oh, them golden slippers I'm gonna wear, 'cause they look so neat. Oh, them golden slippers, oh, them golden slippers I'm gonna wear, walk on the golden street. Well, it's goodbye, children, I've got to go where the rain don't fall and the wind don't blow. Your ulster coats, you should wear them when you ride that chariot in the morning. And your golden slippers should be neat and clean, and your age should be just sweet 16. Your kid white gloves, you should wear them when you ride that chariot in the morning. Oh, them golden slippers, oh, them golden slippers I'm gonna wear, 'cause they look so neat. Oh, them golden slippers, oh, them golden slippers I'm gonna wear, walk on the golden street. Oh, the golden slippers I'm gonna wear, walk on the golden street. There you go. A traditional song, a hit song actually. It was one of the first hits back when people just bought a sheet music and sat around a piano in the parlor and the family all sang and played together. That was a very popular song for a good 20 or 30 years actually. Lots of versions of it can be found online. That's my version of it. Going to telegraph a message to my Uncle Backajuice about the sweet camp meeting we will have that day when we ride that chariot in the morning. Okay. Then take a moment now to visit my songs. That's going to be the rest of this show, is various tunes of mine. And my interest in music began with kind of folky music and Beatle music and all the stuff that was popular with kids like me back in the 1960s. I wrote a lot of songs that weren't very good, and that went on for a while, and I guess every songwriter does that. But this is the first song I wrote that I actually believe people turned around and said, hey, that's actually a good song. I won't trouble you with all the details of how I wrote it, but I will tell you that it's a kind of amalgam of the Beatles and Gilbert and Sullivan. And it's what it is. By His Majesty's decree, the people are invited to a celebration on the palace lawn. If you come just after 3, the food and drink will be provided. If you don't go, you will wish that you had gone. For the princess is engaged to a 6-day tandem racer, a faster man on wheels there's never been. And the wedding date is reckoned at July the 22nd. When he arrives, the celebration will begin. Now the king was very glad that his daughter finally had a husband trapped to occupy her days. For she rarely did a thing but to sit and weep and sing, and to wander through the palace garden maze. And the tandem racer's name was Baron Basil Werner, possessor of a world-famed racing cup. He spins his silver pedals and he polishes his medals, and you couldn't count the brides that he stood up. On July the 21st, the royal wedding was rehearsed, and everyone, except the groom, was there. Oh, they tried hard not to worry. They were sure that he would hurry and arrive with lots of time to spare. But from Luxembourg, the tandem racer sent a cablegram. He had raced against the clock and he had lost. and his wheels spin round, and they make a whirring sound, and you couldn't count the countries that he'd crossed. Well, they held the wedding anyway, though it started in to rain, and the princess emptied water from her shoe. It rained all day, and the baron never came, and the people all found better things to do. There you go. The Amazing 6-Day Bicycle Racer. First decent song I ever wrote. Okay, you're going to get a different kind of treat now. Watch me now as I take my guitar and put it aside. I'll just hand it to Alphonse, my assistant here. And what you're going to get next is another song that I wrote back in around the same period of time. This may be the second good song that I ever wrote, and it's held up very well over the years. And somebody, a dear friend of mine named Phil Allen, who also used to go by the name of Grungio Muck, banjo playing and an extraordinary painter, as it turns out, reminded me of this song, and I started doing it again because actually I like it a lot. In those days, I used to try to combine classical music with a kind of folk finger-picking style, something like what you just heard right then. This is more of the folky kind of thing, and I've recently re-recorded it and made a video for it. And 1 second here. And I'm going to play that video for you now. This is a tune called Evelyn, and it combines folk finger-picking with a classical kind of arrangement. I do hope you enjoy Evelyn. Give me a moment while I get it set up. Beside a water wheel, dawn was laying diamonds in the grass. My Evelyn looked gently down. Water was her looking glass. The snow had come and gone. Shoots of May were pushing through the ground. A bird did sing on every bough. Lord, it made the softest sound. Sun is rising, it's not surprising. I know the sun, he's my friend. I hardly know you. Where are you going to, and when will you be back again? Snow had come and gone. Shoots of May were pushing through the ground. A bird did sing on every bough. Lord, it made the softest sound. Sun is rising, it's not surprising. I know the sun, he's my friend. I hardly know you. Where are you going to, and when will you be back again? I hardly know you. Where are you going to, and when will you be back again? Beside a water wheel. Well, I sure hope you enjoyed that. I want to take a moment now to thank my dear friend Dan Simpson for making the wonderful audio mix there of that tune, Evelyn. Evelyn is a part of an album that I recently recorded, and you can find at Bandcamp, where all of my songs can be found at Bandcamp. Bert Lee at bandcamp.com. You can go there and listen to my two most recent albums, which are Salt for Silver and The Pop Cycle. I'm doing songs from both of those albums right now during the course of this live cast. And there's also a look forward to my coming album, which is called Swimming in Falling Water. And there's a tune available from that as well. So I hope you visit that. And that's another way that you can do this thing down here, which is support the artist. Lots of us are doing this these days. There's not a lot of work for musicians. So your support is appreciated by me and every other musician that presents to you. Thank you, Alphonse. There is no Alphonse. You know, when we're on a screen like this, we can say whatever we want to, and you kind of have to believe us. Like, for instance, I'm not wearing pants. Believe it or not, I'm not wearing pants. And you have no way to know whether that's true or not unless I suddenly back up and it's revealed in all of its awful horror to you that I am not wearing pants. Anyway, thank you for being here. If you are here, and if you're not here, maybe you'll be back later when I'm replaying this thing. After I put it live, what I do is I take it down off of YouTube Live, and I put it on my own channel at YouTube, where you can see many videos of my music, live performances and recordings, or you can visit it again when I drop it as a replay at Facebook. And once again, thank you so much for being here. So anyway, those songs that you just heard sort of represent my first period as a songwriter, which was very folky influenced, as you heard, folky with a little bit of classical. A little bit later in the 1970s, I joined up with some very fine musicians, and they inducted me into their band called the Central Park Sheiks, the Eastern Kings of Western Swing, and I was introduced to a whole bunch of music that I'd never heard before, which I was delighted to learn how to play. And this is the first swing-type song that I ever wrote. It was written specifically for the Sheiks and was used as our startup song for so long. You can find it on our album, which is called Honeysuckle Rose, available still from EMI Records. You can buy it at a ridiculous price online. We were the least famous band in the world that you'd have to pay $60 for the disc of. But that's just the way the music business is, you know, and we don't see any of that money. Anyway, this is The Shipwrecked Man. I'm a shipwrecked man in a sea of trouble, watching the rain make crazy puzzles on the window pane. In a sea of rain, how do you stay dry? When I'm down, I go put on a record, even if I've heard that song too many times before. I play it one time more, it still makes me cry. She's gone, she left no note, no number to call. She's gone, and lately I ain't seen her at all again. All I do is watch the rain. She's gone, she left no note, no number to call. She's gone, and lately I ain't seen her at all again. And all I do is watch the rain, and if I were a bird, I'd fly above this rain cloud. Where the sun is shining, I'd be flying high. At least I'd try, Oh, if I were a bird, but I ain't. If you ain't heard, I'm just a shipwrecked man in a sea of trouble, watching the rain make crazy puzzles on the window pane. In a sea of rain, how do you stay dry? There you go, The Shipwrecked Man in a Sea of Trouble, a tragic tale altogether. There you go. And this is one more tune that the Sheiks did, and I'm going to move on to another bunch of different kinds of songs. The Sheiks were, they were definitely the band I was supposed to be in, because we really didn't give a rat's ass about what style of music we were playing. We just tried to play it as good as we could. And as a result, the Sheiks played everything from Western swing, cowboy jazz music, to straight-up country music, to medieval songs, to my indescribable original songs that have no category. One of our biggest hits was a tune called The Key of E is the People's Key, and it was kind of a Bahamian tune. So you go figure, we were all over the goddamn place. So this song was a country tune, which was also featured on the Honeysuckle Rose, the Sheiks album. There I stood on the streets, a grown man at last, with the road at my feet. I turned my back to the past. It's a story of old. You've heard it before, I know it's been told. With the sun in my eyes, I went seeking the prize. Now my father, he told me I had best take some care, and he offered me money to help pay for my fare. It's a story of old. You've heard it before, I know it's been told. With the sun in my eyes, I went seeking the prize. It's a story of old. You've heard it before, I know it's been told. With the sun in my eyes, I went seeking the prize. Now the miles, they are many, back to where I come from. And the prize, if there's any, is just a ticket back home. It's a story of old. You've heard it before, I know it's been told. With the sun in my eyes, I went seeking the prize. There you go. The prize. All these little rattly sounds are because I have metal parts bumping up against the back of my guitar. I should have been careful about the shirt. Should have been careful about the shirt I put on today. In fact, give me just a second. I want to get rid of some of those bumpy little sounds that are happening. I hope you're enjoying yourself. I'm certainly enjoying myself. I always do. When I'm playing music, it takes my mind off of my worries. Would you expect a big S on my chest here or something? I never would show that online. Okay, taking off the shirt with the metal buttons. That should take care of some of the bumpy noises that I'm hearing that are distracting me. Moving the suspenders to the side, it gets rid of the rest of the bumpy sounds that I'm hearing. Hopefully now, more. Whoa! Ah. That was a close call, friends. I'm okay. Oh, I do hate it when that happens, but at least it didn't hit the ground. I saw somebody destroy a beautiful Martin guitar by just not being ready to catch it in time. And I'm relatively sure that probably knocked me a little out of tune, but I think I'm okay. Okay, so we're going to move along now to more recent songs that I have written. This is an homage to Bob Dylan. It's the title song of my album, Salt for Silver, an album I'm extremely proud of, in which, as I say, you can get at bandcamp.com. Bob Dylan likes to make giant metal sculptings with a welding torch. The work similar to Picasso's sculptings, if you have to know. And I always thought that was a great metaphor for the way he writes his songs, which is what made this song come into existence. I'll give you salt for silver if you'll only make the trade. This poetry, these melodies are things that I have made. I've borrowed them from songs I've heard, from stories I've been told. I'll give you salt for silver unless you offer gold. Gonna build a big machine, a mechanical collage. Gonna build it in the workshop in the back of my garage. It's gonna be a wild contraption made of cogs and wheels and gears and discarded bits of everything I've gathered through the years. And when it gets to rolling, it's gonna make an awesome sound, like thunder in the mountains or an earthquake underground. When I'm done, they're gonna ask me, Bob, just what does that thing do? And I will turn around and tell the man, well, what's it do for you? Gonna write a crazy song, I'm not sure what it's gonna mean. Might be plain, might be a puzzle, might be something in between. Gonna populate the verses with people from my dreams. It might point to something deep or maybe just be what it seems. Oh, but when I get to singing it, it's gonna make an awful noise. And I really can't be bothered by the folks my voice annoys. When I'm done, they're gonna beg me, please explain that thing to me. And I will turn around and tell the man it's nothing you can't see. Do I really have to tell you that is just the way I roll? I'm just a simple farm boy with a complicated soul, who set out first to follow in the Woody Guthrie's tracks, to sing about the common man and the burdens on their backs. Gonna write an epic novel, a mountain range of prose. Might turn the tide of history or turn all my friends to foes. It's gonna be a wild concoction made of thoughts and words and prayers. There might be nothing underneath when you peel away the layers. Oh, if I fail in that ambition, I'm gonna put away my pen, put on ordinary clothing, go and walk the world of men. Gonna look in all their faces at the stories in their eyes, in the hopes that all the misery I see there makes me wise. Do I really have to tell you that is just the way I roll? I'm just a simple farm boy with a complicated soul, who set out first to follow in Woody Guthrie's tracks, to sing about the common man and the burdens on their back, who got waylaid in the city by the beatniks and the clowns, and the grief that always comes to you from mixing ups and downs, who tried his hand to Jesus and then suffered a relapse, and had to rebuild his ideas from all these bits and scraps. I'll give you salt for silver if you'll only make the trade. This poetry, these melodies are things that I have made. I've woven them from songs I've heard, from stories I've been told. I'll give you salt for silver unless you offer gold. There you go, salt for silver. A different kind of tune. You see, I'm all over the map. That's the way I write my songs. I try my very best to write my songs in an interesting kind of way. This song has been very well liked recently, and so I like to play it with some frequency. This neighborhood that we have out our window here, when my wife first moved our family here, a little more than 10 years ago, it was predominantly Italian. There were some Middle Eastern people. There was also some Latino people and some Chinese people. But then about 3 or 4 years ago, a wave of Chinese people just came flooding into the neighborhood. They bought up all the buildings, and the neighborhood converted to a predominantly Chinese neighborhood. Now, I love Chinese culture, so that didn't really bother me all that much. But then there came this fear that they might buy the building and move in some Chinese family and get rid of us. And so there was a period of time when I had to overcome that fear and balance it against my basic, I like people. I don't care who they are. I don't care where they come from. They're just people. And that inspired me to write this song. All things have turned out well so far. The Chinese people in the neighborhood seem to like me and my wife. Of course they like my wife. Everybody loves my wife. And it encouraged me to write this song. Our old Italian neighborhood has turned Chinese, maybe for good. Water, water everywhere. The ghetto has been gentrified. The first folks have been pushed aside. Doesn't matter if it's fair. It's the same thing everywhere. The Indians who once lived here, they made their trade in hunting deer. Water, water everywhere. They made a bargain with the Dutch that really didn't leave them much, but the Dutchmen didn't care. It's the same thing everywhere. The hippies have all moved upstate, and the hipsters came to take their place. Maybe the only difference is the hair. And the little shops you could afford to shop in now, they all are boarded. Building owners, they don't care. It's the same thing everywhere. Well, the water just goes where it will. You know it always flows downhill. Rivers running everywhere. And who are you and I to kid? It just does what it always did. It just goes where it's meant to be, flowing till it finds the sea. Water, water everywhere. Now the music clubs have all shut down. New York is a rich man's town. doesn't matter if it's fair. And the only music that remains is while you're waiting for the trains. You can tip them if you care. There's so much free music everywhere. Well, the money just goes where it must. It's all about the boom or bust. Buddy, have you got a dime to spare? And who are you and I to kid? It settles for the lowest bid. The bottom line is where it goes. That's just the way the money flows. Doesn't matter if it's fair. Now in my new Chinese neighborhood, the people that I meet are good. It's the same thing everywhere. No matter where they come from, friend, they're only people in the end. It's not their fault they had to settle there. People, people, people everywhere. People trying just to be everywhere like you and me, like water flowing to the sea, going where we're meant to be. Water, 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 water everywhere. Thank you, that's Water Everywhere. Taking a quick moment to check the temperature. Lovely. This YouTube has so many advantages. The sound's so much better. I think the visual is much better. I get to wear headphones. That's, just so groovy. Now I feel like really part of the 21st century with my headphones. And I'm going to do another song now from Salt for Silver. All of the songs in this sequence, Salt for Silver, Water Everywhere, and this tune, all from the Salt for Silver album, available on Bandcamp. You can go to Bandcamp and just listen to them, and that's very nice. And if you feel like downloading them, you can buy the individual tracks or the entire album. Price is very low. You can put in as much as you want to. In most cases, you're spending a couple of dollars. It doesn't really take too much if enough people drop a few bucks in, and that's the theory of streaming. So you can also help, if you like what I do, convince some of your friends to come and listen to my music, because I know they'll like it too, and I like the fact that they're here. So this is a song called Northbound Train. Riding on a northbound train, leave the South behind, rolling through the blue-gray dawn, I feel the past unwind. Hills and valleys, streets and alleys, little towns all in a row. People I may never meet, places I may never go. I sometimes feel just like a gambler, gonna watch my fortunes break. Or just like some weary rambler, wondering which fork to take. I got my backpack and my guitar, pocket change to pay my way. I bought myself a one-way fare. I'm going home and there I'll stay. Living up to what I said I'd do. Girl, you know I'm coming home to you. Play some changes while I'm rolling, looking for the words to sing. Take my rhythm from the train tracks, and I wonder what the muse will bring. Fellow travelers in this night car, asking me what songs I play. They sometimes strike a harmony as we pass the rattling miles away. Living up to what I said I'd do. Girl, you know I'm coming home to you. Giving up the games I tried to play. Coming home to you, there I'll stay. Riding on a northbound train. Leave the South behind. Rolling through the blue-gray dawn, and I feel the past unwind. A little train sound Foley for you there at the end. All righty. Okay, well, we're coming up on the end of my live stream. I try to do about an hour. I'll probably do a little bit more than an hour. I do hope I've had an audience today. I have no way of knowing because of the way the setup with YouTube is. You might be over there at Facebook watching, or you may not. And in any event, if there's no one watching, I'll be replaying this at a later date for those who do have the time for it. Once again, thanks so much to all the people who do support me, and going to do basically just 3 more tunes. Next couple of tunes I'm going to do are tunes that are based on novels that I wrote. I'll be providing a little bit of information about that at the end of this live stream. The novels were Family History, available from Amazon Books, and the first of them was called Dead Man's Coat. The 2 songs I'm about to do were inspired by the book as I was writing it, and helped me to finish the book by giving me something other than prose to focus on. And if you get the ebook version of it, there's a recording of each of these songs included with the ebook. The books have been described as extremely cinematic. And the first book is called Dead Man's Coat, and it's about my grandfather, who came over from Ireland during the Civil War at the age of 12, got involved in a stagecoach robbery in the Colorado territories. And let's just say he robbed the wrong stagecoach, because after the robbery and a whole bunch of bad things that went down, he made his way back across the country, arriving in Alabama as the Civil War was ended with 2 bags of Confederate money, because they'd robbed a stagecoach bringing money from Clark and Gruber and Company in Denver, Colorado, where they minted Confederate money. Anyway, that inspired this song, which is not so much about my grandfather, but about the concept of money. My grandpa was a grifter, a gambler, and a heel. He snuck around from town to town, and he dealt a dirty deal. He went out in the wild world to steal what he could steal. And you know he stole a fortune, but the money wasn't real. Now the Pharaoh was a miser, his story has been told. He had 10,000 workers build a pyramid to hold all his statues and his trappings, his caskets and his gold. You know he wanted to have everything, but all he got was old, 'cause none of it was real. Funny how it is, you know now, none of it was real. His monument so grand just got covered up by sand. Now he's just another mummy, man, 'cause none of it was real. A poor man buys a loaf of bread and he shares it and it's gone. A rich man wrecks his portion, yet his wealth keeps rolling on. And the good things that you've said and done are nothing you can pawn. When you're in the underclass, you're always overdrawn, 'cause the money isn't real. Funny how it is, you know now, the money isn't real. You can follow all the rules made by idiots for fools, bills. And you think you'll get your just reward, but you won't. You won't pick up a penny, oh, but you might spare a dime. A dollar buys a pretty meager way to waste your time. A C note gets you groceries, and a grand might buy a thrill. You might rake in a shitload and still not get your fill. I live in America, a country built on greed, and I suppose that's not a bad thing if you just take what you need. But it seems everyone's afflicted by a hunger to exceed. Why should one man have a billion when there's a million mouths to feed? 'Cause the money isn't real. Funny how it is, you know now the money isn't real. You can burn it, you can earn it, but in the end you'll learn that it all amounts to nothing. This is the part where I talk. Now I bought me some insurance in case I pass away. I've heard that that could happen, and who am I to say? I might live forever, they'd never have to pay. Shit, who would be the loser then if it all turned out that way? 'Cause the money isn't real. Funny how it is, you know now the money isn't real. You can spend it, you can lend it, you'll find that in the end it all amounts to nothing. Yes, it's funny how it all amounts to nothing. So funny how it all amounts to nothing. But the money isn't. The money isn't real. Of course, you know. All righty. Lovely, lovely, lovely. I've just got two more songs for you now. This is another song that was connected to and inspired by the writing of the book, Dead Man's Coat, available from Amazon Books. If you wish, you can always get a copy. If you do like my writing, and you drop me a note anytime on Facebook, all my friends there know, many of them have read the book and will recommend them to you. You can also get free of charge from me a collection of short stories called The White Gallery, which I will send to you in ebook format, as it is no longer, or is not yet, printed in a paperback format. Need a few more stories in there to make it long enough for a paperback. But the available ebook version is very entertaining. It's called The White Gallery. It's about me growing up in the East Village as a runaway boy and a hippie. And it's all about New York in the 1960s and 70s, early 80s. Time that I spent in New York before I lived in Key West for a while. In any event, this is one more tune from the cowboy tradition and based on Dead Man's Coat. This is called Moonlight, a Palomino. Rattlesnake waits in the shadow of a rock. Field mouse hides from the eyes of a hawk. Cactus stands like a statue of a man. Him and me, my horse named Dan, on a dusty road. Indian watching from a switchback ridge. Ghost riders running up a cloudy bridge. Twilight stealing in a corner of the sky. Riding along, thinking by and by I'll put down my load. Give me sweet fresh water now, and give me a cool, cool breeze. Let me lay my head down in a grove of shady trees. I'd like a big white house with a pretty little wife inside, and a moonlight palomino I can ride. There's a ghost town down where the creek ran dry. Buzzard circle in the hard blue sky. Dusty old bar, empty bottles on the shelf. Piano in a corner that plays itself. It's a spooky sound. I hitched my horse to an old fence rail. Fetched up water in a leaky pail. Gonna get out of town before the daylight fails. I don't wanna stick around. Give me sweet fresh water now, give me a cool, cool breeze. Let me lay my head down in a shady trees. I'd like a big white house with a pretty little wife inside, and a moonlight palomino I can ride. Jackrabbit runs from the scattering stones. Blackbird cries to rattle your bones. Cowskull laying by a watering hole. Don't drink there, you might lose your soul in the burning sun. I left my home and I can't go back. Wildflower growing in a wagon wheel track. Dry wind coming down from the hills, looking for a place a waterfall spills when the day is done. Give me sweet fresh water now, and give me a cool lay my head down in the grove of shady trees. I want a big white house with a pretty little wife inside, and a moonlight palomino I can ride. Alrighty, we're coming up on the last song of my presentation, and thank you if you stuck around to listen to my tunes. I do so appreciate your support and your interest in what I do. I love playing music, and it takes my mind off of all the numerous worries of our times, and I hope that you find the same thing true. My gift to you, and I hope you enjoy it. I'm going to do one last tune. This is a very recent tune, and it will be featured on an upcoming album which will be posted on Bandcamp sometime in the fall. And here we go. This tune is called Soon Your Tears Be Over. In these days of trouble, child, everyone has grown up wild, and sometimes I think there's nothing that could save her. We've turned our backs on one another, turned away from earth, our mother, and squandered all the riches that she gave us. In every town and village, deep into the night, in their beds the restless sleepers are turning. Down along the waterways and on the city walls, nightmen work to keep the watchfires burning. Little darling, don't you have no fear, don't you worry now, 'cause I'll be here, sure as the white dove that spreads her wings to rise to the light that the morning brings, and as sure as the changing of the moon, darling, soon. Soon your tears be over, darling, soon. Soon your tears be over, darling. In these days of hate and war, it's hard to know just who you are, or if there's something greater you belong to. Is there someone who will take your hand and try to help you understand, and maybe someone you can sing your broken song to? Sailors on the ocean praying for the sight of land, they look out to find the lighthouse angels sweeping. Babies in the cradle on the wings of lullaby. Sweet sister, hold her safely in your keeping. Little darling, don't you have no fear. Don't you worry now, 'cause I'll be here. Sure as the white dove that spreads her wings to rise to the light that the morning brings, and as sure as the changing of the moon, darling, soon. Soon your tears be over, darling, soon. Soon your tears be over. Soon your tears be over, darling, soon. Soon your tears be over, darling, soon. Soon your tears be over, darling, soon. And that does it for me, my presentation to you today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for any support you offer me. As I go out and just say a last few words to the various people that I love, I'm putting up a page which will give you more information about how you can support the Bert and Josie moment. As I say, if you're already a person who's donated, don't worry about the fiduciary part of that, but your donation can be just simply to tell people to come and listen to my live streams, because I think that's going to matter in a lot of different ways. Meanwhile, if you are interested in helping me and you haven't done so in the past, there's the information for the virtual tip jar. Also information about how to find my songs online at Bandcamp, bertleebandcamp.com. And my two books, Dead Man's Coat and The Spindrift Factor, which you can find at Amazon in the Kindle book version, which is an ebook version, or paperback. And I think you might enjoy those greatly. Once again, Bert Lee is my name. Music is what I love to do, and I thank you so much for tuning in to my live cast today.